sir. Without any delay, we are starting the first technical session now. Now onwards. Let me introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Dr. Parvesh Sharma. He is the Assistant Professor, National Forensic Science University, Tripura campus. His area of research, forensic digital document, forensic accounting, and multimedia forensics. He is having 8 years experience in different domains of police science and forensic science. Now I am taking over the session to him. Sir, please continue.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. Okay, I'd like to share my screen and do let me know whether it is visible or not. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, thank you. So our today's topic is introduction to multimedia forensics tools. As I was looking at the different lecture series of you guys on the MATLAB, Python, data processing, data pre-processing, and you will glad to know that majority of these lecture series that you will listen by this workshop on fifth emerging tools and technologies in research. There are various research attributes that you can find today in the field of multimedia forensic science. So before starting, again, my name is Parvesh Sharma. I'm assistant professor in the School of Forensic Science in National Forensic Sciences University. My mail ID is given to you here. In case of any questions and queries, you can always contact me after this lecture as well. So before we start, there is one question in this series as well, or this lecture series. In multimedia, you will find audio, video, you will find image forensics, you will find video forensics as well. And यहाँ पर हम पुलिस या फोरेंसिक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बात करेंगे. इट इज़ नॉट एन इजी टास्क टू डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन द ऑथेंटिक वन और मैनिपुलेटेड इमेज. So because this topic or the field is very vast, so what I've tried to club it to a very simple format way, where it would be based on scenario based rather than going into pure technical part that into the pre-processing or different kind of system. So here I've tried to club this different set of tools. The company name is Ampet, and they have this system of clubbing all the tools. One is the Authenticate one, another one is 5 one, Ampet 5 and Ampet Authenticate. The Ampet Authenticate, it gives you the verify integrity, authenticity of images before emitting them as evidence, analyze the source device to link illegal images to the perpetrators, extract valuable information from image metadata, that would be the date, time, positions, GPS, etc. And in the case of MPED 5, where we have the different questions submitted from the police officers, whether the CCTV footages can be enhanced or not, whether the images from the camera or the DSLR or the all the images that has been sorted out or erased or not can be extracted out from the device or not, extract the measurement of the objects, which we called photogrammetry in our studies as well, annotate and export enhanced footages from all the kind of CCTV footages that we get from time to time. So these are the different questions, and to get into the education or training into this system, there are three systems that we follow. Number one is the formal education, and this formal education would be in the computer department or the digital forensics department, where you get to learn to know about the all the different algorithms that you know. Fortunately, you all guys are doing your MCA and MTech. That much I'm guessing you are already get to know about the multimedia system and how many multimedia system are there and how the system work. Then the second line follow is the non-vendor specific trainings. This non-vendor specific training is this kind of open source training and the science behind the system, where you get to know about the algorithms and what they can do for you, and what you can extract from any images from time to time, and what are the limitations of that study or that course that cannot be extracted from that information. Third, then we get to this vendor training, which is a kind of like training from this instrumentation people as well. So this is a institutional training, but it has been given by the vendors that are providing this. The separation is that like this, that you will get to know whether this information that we are having, or whether we are able to analyze, or what are the new systems that can be given by this vendor system. And the last is your on job training. That on job training is where you are receiving your case from day to day basis, and now you are not only doing your R&D, but also you are able to analyze cases on a much larger extent. So so let us break this into some scenarios, and at the end of this session or this talk, what we'll try to do is we'll try to answer these three questions. The scenario is like this, very simple. A smartphone is seized during a police investigation. Now you will find this, that this is a like very common practice. अगर पुलिस वाला भी रोक लेता है हमारे को for traffic rules also, then also they can always ask for submit your mobiles. And although it is very wrong practice, but now every identity, our every data, our identity theft can be done by this system of our mobile, because we have our bank from starting from our banking, iCard, Aadhaar card, then we have DigiLocker, everything is there in our mobile. The contacts are extracted from the mobile forensic software. There are different mobile forensic software from which you can extract the information from any smartphone, whether it being the iPhone, whether it is the Windows phone, whether it is Android phone, but it will be able to extract the information. So information is there, but now to answer whether the image was taken from that smartphone or not, whether the data that we are finding into the smartphone belongs to that smartphone or not, the origin of that data is there or not. All this system are answered into this case of multimedia. So now, where we have put three questions. Now, one being, know which image have been captured by the seized phone versus the received phone. Received phone. So these are the system where you have to answer whether two images of special interest are authentic. So sometimes we have this two images with us, and we have to analyze whether this was the original image captured by that smartphone or that device, or whether it has been edited or not. So in that case, whether it is authentic or not. And third one being that someone has tried to shoot a video of someone WhatsApp chat, so enhance the content of a video to read a chat. These are the three scenarios that should be able to answer by the end of this lecture. So the first things first, what is digital image life cycle? So question being there. So what's happened when we click an image? So before answering the question, let us talk about the what happens within a picture, or when a picture is taken from a camera, or in other words, what is the life cycle of a digital image. Now, if I'll say 99% of today's people are going to click their images on their smartphone itself, maybe it won't be alive. So on your screen, you can see a digital image life cycle. So this digital image life cycle, you can see, if you can see my cursor, there is one image that is the scenery which has to be captured, and then there is the result where we can see the image of life cycle. Whether you calculate it as the sensor, whether you say it as DSLR, whether you say it as smartphone camera, this is the basic system that you will see in any system, that the light gets entered into the lenses and it passes through your optical filter, after which it gets into a CFA pattern. This CFA pattern is the camera filter array, which is divided into R, double G, and B, and then it gets to the image sensor, and after it gets into the image sensor, the interpolation of CFA is done, and then in camera software processing like balancing, whiteness, contrast, saturation, etc., and all the image pre-processing is done, and then the in camera the JPEG compressions and metadata thumbnails or preview will be done in this scenario. So this is how a digital image life cycle is produced. So we have one picture which we have captured the image of any scene, and now this image is the one that would be circulated into the different kind of aspects. So let's say there is a case where the image has been forwarded into some other system as well, and then there would be some problems. We have to identify what was the origin. So this is what we do next. That every people or every person in today, what we do is we do it as out camera process. What is this out camera processing? So after we have captured the image, we share it through the different social media. It can be a Facebook, it can be Flickr, it can be WhatsApp, it can be Instagram. And before uploading the Instagram, the natural practice that everyone follows is they like to produce some filters to glorify the image, and that is your editing or enhancement. And then according to the platform, it gets compressed into the final JPEG compression, and then we have one more result. So if you can see now we have one picture, but the result outcome is two. One is where the camera has captured that image, and the second one being after the camera processing, editing, and before uploading into the multimedia of our social media, and then attributes of that image would change, and now there is no information that should be connected from the system. And due to this, many major problems come to the picture because we have no image but we cannot find the origins. To answer this, so let us open with this system of embed. So as I was talking about, there are two systems of embed authenticate and embed file. In the case of embed authenticate, we like to know the metadata, their exif details, and all the system. So what we do is we take that smartphone, we extract the images from that smartphone by using a different kind of tools. These mobile forensics tools will give you all the details of the attributes of the images that are there. And again, right blocker is required so that there should not be any problem post analyzing the scenes. So when we have open our embed system, what we do is we get to our folder where we have submitted all the images. So here you can see on the desktop we have put some images where the see that has been saved from that smartphone. And then there is one question. So for example, we want to see attributes of this image. So after we have opened that image onto our system, what we do is we start to doing the process of authenticates, and we will do the attributes. After you have click on the image, you will find the visual inspection, and you will be able to see the EXIF data of an image. So what is this EXIF data? Whenever we are calculating or whenever we are capturing any image, our locations, like if GPS is on, then the attributes contains name file, the timestamp, the type of camera, the type of sensor, and the all the system that our smartphone by default does will be get saved by that JPEG thumbnails that we were talking about, due to which we will be able to analyze this system. Now the fun part is this: if your smartphone camera is having three lenses or four lenses or four cameras, it may happen that EXIF data will change. It will happen that the EXIF data will be different for all of for these cameras. That means you would be able to say that this image was captured by the main camera, the ultra wide, or the macro one. This we can analyze by analyzing this EXIF data, and where we analyze these different file formats. Again, in this system, if we have the GPS data, we can pinpoint the exact location of the image. So it is very simple, where you have to use our common sense, that if we can go on Google and if we put these coordinates into the Google, we would be able to say what kind of information or what was the system that was there the place where it was being captured. So for this, there is a different system is also there. We can go to the open Google Maps, and after going to the open maps, we send these coordinates, and after entering these coordinates, we will be able to pinpoint where this image was captured, either by the smartphone or either by your DSLR. But if the GPS coordinate is there, you will be able to establish that okay, this was the place this was being captured. And that is, now you will find different kind of videos and reels where they will saying that you should delete your exif data before sending your photo to someone else. So this is like one example where you would be able to see or analyze from the satellite view, where we can see the exact location from where the picture was taken. So this is one information. Now using the human intelligence and different software, what we want to know is where was the sun position when the picture was being taken, what was the exact time, and whether the timestamp of the camera of the DSLR or the smartphone matches with the on that day the physical attributes of the sun or the moon or the stars or the planets. So this is one information. Now analyze what we do is analysis where the sun was there and where was the locations. And when we open this Sun Cordial website, you will be able to see the weather on that day, what was being there, and whether it was raining or it was cloudy. And based on this, we would be able to see what was the environment on that day when the camera was being used into the scenarios. So this is where we use different kind of techniques for analyzing this uh, analysis of forensic metadata, or to establish whether it was done by the same purpose or not, same smartphone or not. So let's say now someone has said sent this photograph of some kidnapping case scenarios or all this kind of stuff. And if we have this data, we would be able to pinpoint the location. The police would be able to go into that location and answer to the queries of the complaints that have been submitted into the police. So now we are on your screen, you can see two photographs, right being one which we have analyzed, being the metadata, EXIF data is also there. And now we want to compare this second photograph which was being taken from the same smartphone. As of now, we don't know whether it was captured from the same smartphone, whether it has been forwarded to that smartphone, or whether it has been editing or not. So this is the where we want to answer to different system as well. So here what we do is we go to the file format metadata, where we can see the red part, which where there is showing something is wrong with the evidence image. So if we analyze this system, you will say thumbnail is missing, the data, the timestamp or the pixel value is missing. And so guys, here we have to understand the system of sensors also. So you will always find that there are different sensors in your smartphone. In day-to-day use, you will always capture image. And if anyone can answer, what is your current aspect ratio when you click a photograph? If you can answer, it's good. If it's not, 16 to ratio 9, or this is the like current ratio where every people is using nowadays from time to time. But our sensor system, the format is 4 ratio 3. And then our camera or our pre-processing crop those pixels as well to analyze or to scale to make it as the image where we can use this data for the analyzing as well. So these are the like where you can see the attributes by the pixel, what would be the image size, what was the compressions that has been used, and if there is more than two compression or three compression that can be used, we can use this or we can match this by using evidence image value or the reference image value. So when we analyze this system, we get to know that there are different images does not contains any exit data or GPS or any other metadata. It may be that it has been forwarded by the WhatsApp. It may be that it has been shared by the some different social media where the current metadata or the exif data is not available into the smartphone. Now, when then what we do is we plot this DCT plot. This DCT plot we will be able to see the compression, the evidence images compressed more than once or not. So you can see one reference and one evidence. So usually when we do the first compression, our plot is sector wise and it creates a graph. And when there are two compression, three compression, the DCT plot of that same smartphone, the DCT plot of that same image will get changed if you are compressing, if you are changing any other data into that system or not, if or not. So this is where we get to learn about the DCT plot, and then by using local analysis, we will be able to see the fusion map where we can see changes in that compression. So this is the like majority of the practices that has been used in a day-to-day basis by these people. So what they do is either they wanna make some letter from positive to negative or negative to positive, or they wanna delete some signature, or they wanna delete some handwriting from any paper to make it as clean as possible. So what they do is they just go into paint, they click the data, and they put white point onto that contents where they don't want anyone to see. And this is where the local analysis into your system would be able to help. So what we do is we open this image into the system, and then we plot the system, and we do the image analysis by going to our local data. And in this local data, you will see it will plot a different kind of all the system, different kind of spectra, and now it has been converted into the two system. The one is the red green part, the other one the red part shows two different compressions, which indicates something is removed from the original image. So this proves or this shows that there is something shady into that image, and someone has changed some data, and it needs to be analyzed more than that. And when the red green or something is removed, that means the image is not authentic. It won't be possible to submit it as evidence. But this is the answer where we get to know whether the two images or the one image is authentic or not, whether there is some images gets attributes changes or not. Someone has used splicing, editing, any kind of this technique to make some changes into the evidences. This is where we get to learn about the authenticity of any image or video or voice. So let's continue to our second question now. On the second scenario, the two images are the from the same phone or not. So same phone or not, that means now we have to understand what would be the possibility to understand that these images are from the same video or not. For that, we should be able to understand first camera source identification. On your screen, you would be watching as this camera source identification. This camera source camera identifications creates the phase one. There is one camera. Some pictures are being captured from this part, and then what we do is we compute the CRP. What is this CRP? It is a camera reference pattern. CRP, camera reference pattern. In other words, it is also known as what we call from day-to-day life the ISO, or the noise in your camera. The noise in your camera, it is a very specific signature, and again it is different for every lenses adhered onto the smartphone. So let's see, if I have a smartphone and it has three lenses, it would be different for every camera. And then by the measure the correlation, if it is the above the threshold, then it is evidence image is compatible with the camera. And if the image is not compatible with camera, that means the image that we have the CRP contains with, and the evidence that we have concluded from the smartphone is from the different system. Now, irrespective of the question, whether it was handled on the social media or not, this CRP would be common. This CRP for the one would be one for the image that has been used at that time, at the time of capturing the image. Okay. So what we do is, before going into containing the CRP, we will require some of the images with which we can conclude this CRP. For this, there are number of software which is already been there. In the case of MPET, what we do is we do the batch analysis. What is this batch image analysis? We take all the images from the center. So let's say if my camera is having three lenses and my camera has produced 50 images, all these 50 images would be sent to this batch analysis where the camera reference pattern would be observed. Now, based on these lenses, what we have to do is we have to analyze every individual image. So when I'm doing this camera analysis or CRP analysis or batch file analysis, it will tell me whether it is from the same camera or not. So if it is from the same camera, I'll have the result positive. If it is not the same camera, I will have the result negative. And based on that, we would be able to say whether some images has been given from the WhatsApp, some have been given from the Instagram, some has been captured by this system and then being mailed to someone, and so on. Now, what we do is this is the where we get to know of the CRP. Now, fun fact is there. So let us say one has changed attributes. So this is can be used as the research aspects as well, because these all software are proprietary software. There is no open source intelligence or open source software for this CRP to conclude and calculate. In my experiences, what I have seen that at least 30 images are required to create this CRP or the noise to analyze it with the evidences. Every time it is not possible. Sometimes you will get only the images, but the smartphone has been now given to the court. It is under the evidence system, and it won't be possible every time to ask the court to just give you the evidence again and again. The second scenario is where instead of propriety, if there is any other software where you can conclude CRP, and then you analyze this batch images of WhatsApp, again the CRP with the WhatsApp and the authentic images, whether it is a solvable question or not. If you can do that, this is also a very good research idea. You being the student of MC and MTech and PhD would be able to answer this question, and that would be very much beneficial for the government and the police organizations as well. Now, a third part where we want to see that if some images or videos is there, and there is a one WhatsApp video that has been submitted, and now we want to analyze the contents of this system. But the problem is the video is so blurry, it is not able to learn each and everything into this video. Sorry, I have just forgot to add the video here. But the problem is here. So let us, you just imagine this system and you will get to know. So you are someone is in a train or in a bus doing the chatting, and you are recording. Someone is recording this evidences that something is going wrong with this part, and police sometimes make these mistakes. Instead of giving us the full video, they short it from their system, and when the hand is shaky, there is a problem. The other example is like this: the CCTV footage is there, but the car is moving, and we have to analyze what was the number of that car, what was the number of that bike, and so on. These are the like various questions that will be being asked from time to time into these scenarios. Okay, so what we do here is we select the most steady frame or that one which is mostly clear. So usually this would be, so you already know this, every video you will capture, it will have some frame per second. So let's say there is some 20 frame per second, 30 frame per second, 60 frame per second. That means your camera or just your sensor is trying to capture so much frames, like say 20 frames in per second, and you will get to learn every frame. You have to extract every from that frame from that video, and then you have to select the most steady frame, that one which you think is the most clear. And then you what you do is you go to the deblurring option and then click motion. When you go to the deblurring option and then you click on motion deblurring, and then you connect 2 points, what will give you, it will give you two aspects. One would be the frame, the other would be the other frame. And what you do is you attach or try to pinpoint those keywords, in other words, superimposition of those words, so that you would be able to do deblurring, and the content should be much more readable. And this process is increase, and then what you do is you increase the noise so that chat is more legible. What is this noise or ISO? It will give you the smoothness to your image, and your text would be more legible. And then when you do this, use the Wiener filter to get final result. And after that, you will be able to analyze that okay, there was some text was there. This WhatsApp text said that there was going to be some abuse into the system, and then this can be utilized and this can be submitted into the court for the identification purposes, number one, to the evidence for the suspect purposes, and this will be able to give the justice to the victims of that person. So when we compare the result, so what we do is we increase the size for the legibility, and then final result can be seen. And at last, what we able to see, we will be able to see the deep blurring, and we would be able to analyze different kind of factors into the system. Now there are few limitations as well. Now what kind of this limitation as well? So when we get some cases, or when we get consultancies onto the system, every now and then we will get to have this CCTV footages of instruments or some vehicle where we have to identify the number. And when we ask police to give over the evidences to submission for the consultancy, instead of giving us the DVR, the digital video recorder, they will give us the footages on their phone that is being recorded onto some screen, and then we won't be able to see the analysis. So this is a kind of limitation for us, because the source is not present at the time of analysis. Number one. Number two, now deep learning is coming into the system, where you can see the smartphones can now do the pre-processing, where they can use or utilize these images. For example, Snapchat, if someone of you may have used, it can utilize filter into the system, where you can see the artificial intelligence doing their work, and the image would be same captured from the system, but we are not able to analyze those image as well, because the attributes has been now so much deeply engraved into each system, where we are not able to analyze this kind of system. So these were the three scenarios where we have to learn about these different kind of multimedia. So this is as I have prepared for you guys. Now I'm open to question from everyone. Thank you. Hello.
Hello everyone. Do you have any doubts? If you are having any doubts, so sir is here to clear your doubts.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Sir, it was nice presentation, but I want to know whether the MPEG software is open source or licensed.
No, ma'am. Amped is a propriety. It is a licensed software. In our institution, we have like acquired different kind of as a bundle. We have Amped software. It is a company from the office is based in USA. Apart from this, there are the packages like this into the audio video as well, where you have to analyze the vocals as well, where you wanna say the voice is from the same person or not. For that, we use now Anubhuti. It is a made in India, full-fledged for speaker verification, identification. And then apart from this MPEG, we have CSL, which is a computerized speech lab as well. These are some all the software are ma'am, proprietary or the licensed one. In the case of open source, there is exif tool is there, which is available onto this uh, GitHub you will get. Second open source, now you can see there will be some lectures on Python as well in Python programming. The software name is Imago, IMAGO. It is also open
Oh,
source software that can be utilized for these purposes as well.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is there anyone who want to ask Parvesh sir to for any doubt?
Yes. No questions, guys?
Okay. Uh, Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable talk. On behalf of our department and Tripura University, I'm, I'm saying thank you.
Thank you.
And this is all for our this session. Our next session will start from Jayant sir. It will start from 3:30.